Hello, hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Kim, and today I would like to talk about life lessons, how I learn how to navigate life through challenges, um, circumstances, and I'll just start with, in the beginning years, how I had to learn how to, you know, navigate life and I felt like I was on my own. And even though I had a background of Christian parents, but as we got in the world, I was, pulled different directions and wanted to do what everyone else was doing, and life got hard. Life got hard, and obstacles and oppositions were in the way, and I um, had challenges that I had to overcome. But later on in the years, as I got older, I had to realize that I could not do life on my own. And it took some doing things over and over again in order for me to do that. I had to think life was repeating itself. And I threw my hands up and I said, Lord, I still continue to I never had a relationship with Christ, but I never departed from Christ. I knew the Psalms 23 that I always said when I got in trouble, only when I got in trouble. I never did it, and I did go to church like on Sunday, but I never had a relationship with Christ, and I never had got to know him. I just knew of him. But I held on to that, my parents' belief in Christ and what I was taught, and what I believed, what I believed. But what I did, life lessons. I didn't look at mistakes anymore as them being mistakes. I began to realize that those were life lessons. And life lessons is okay, Sometimes we will get stretched and pulled and we think that we're gonna break. And what I learned, I just had to hold on to something. I had to hold on to something. And life was teaching me, I can overcome it. I can overcome it. I overcame one obstacle, and I said, okay, I remember that time that I overcame, and the Christ, our Jesus, was there. I know he was there because you know, I I got over it, and I got through it, and I was able to stand up in it and learn from it. In the beginning, I did not learn from it because I kept repeating it. But as I got older, I began to I finally learned from what, um, that I did not want to repeat anymore. I I said, no, I can't keep going through life like this, because I knew deep down in my heart that I felt like I was a good person, but made bad choices. And, and it's okay for us to stumble. Christ, he loves us. He loves me dearly. And I know that today. I'm so overwhelmed with my Christ, my Jesus Christ. I have a relationship with him. I communicate, on a spiritual level. And I had to learn to, I couldn't trust, anymore. But as I stayed with it, because I know that was the answer, I knew that was the answer. So I said, I got baptized and I said, I got to learn who Christ is. I got to know who this Christ is, because I know he worked in my life so many times, but I just ignored it throughout the years. But I said, I got to know who this Christ is, Jesus Christ. I got to get to know him. I bought myself a Bible. I got baptized and I stayed in it. I stayed in it and continually stay in it, in his word. And I prayed. I started to do things repetitiously and pray on a daily basis. Throughout the day I have too, because I never did it, but once every Sunday or every time I got in trouble, that was what I used to do. So I started to read the Bible. In the beginning I didn't. I still wanted to do things my way. But I was learning, the Lord's voice, not his how he communicates with me. I wanted to learn everything. I wanted to learn how he communicates, how he'll show us, different things, through signs and symbols and through our reading and he will, as I open that book, the Bible, it will go straight to what he wants me to learn. He will be speaking to me right there in that Bible. He will be showing me what I need to do, what he needs me to do. And I began to pick up on that. And I love it, the communication. I began to trust it, and I began to, look out for, his communication. And I feel connected now. I feel very connected. And he began to show me that I'm not navigating life on my own. I thought I was. He always been there. But I thought I was navigating life on my own. And as I was doing it in my own strength, yes, life was going to be hard. But as I began to realize, he was showing me that, I'm here. I've always been here. Yeah, and I know he has, but I just ignored it, But I began to trust it later and realize that I need to pay attention. I need to pay attention and realize that life is better on this side. It's easier on this side, with me knowing, doing things Christ's way, Jesus Christ's way. It was easier. I feel better. He was showing me, through people, through through videos, through the book, through the Bible, through different things. He would speak through people and telling me what, how he want me to live, and I would realize that, he's speaking through people, and then I would model that and understand that, he was teaching me how to, how to eat right. He would have somebody talk about eating right, how that eating right is going to help the fog in my brain and help me to feel better and all of that, And I began to feel better and navigate life with, and knowing, start thinking clearly. After a while, I started thinking clearly. I'm like, this is working. This is really working. I feel better and looking better and doing the things that I get my passions, and getting back to my passions, and and all I had to do was believe and trust and know that I am guided in the right direction. because the world was leading me in the wrong direction. And I picked up on that and I realized, yeah. But it's always been in me, but I never knew, I never realized, who I was. And I wanted to, now I know who I am. I used to people please because I wanted people to like me, because I always felt set apart. But I don't run from it anymore, because it doesn't matter what people think about me. I care about what I think, and what the Lord think about me. That's what matters, and what I think about myself. And once I started believing in myself, then I would say life got better, because I stopped trying to get people validation and understand that I can get my own validation, and the Lord helps me to believe in myself. He shows me what the vision that life, the possibilities of life, just the big possibilities, the dreams, and all of those things that I can achieve. And then I started doing them. I started to do the passions that I had all never dug up. They were built under layers and layers of distrust in myself. I didn't even believe in myself, because I can't blame anybody. I have to put the blame on myself, because we all have to know, take a inventory of ourselves, take an inventory. When we become short, when we become worried in our minds, that means we're drifting away from Christ. And knowing that, and I love living for Christ, because I feel better. And I'm doing things, that I never done before, which is so much better. Life is just like looking up. I'm happy. And I don't feel no hurt anymore. I don't feel no pain anymore. I feel good in my body, because I'm eating right now, and I'm reading the word now daily. And as I stay in the word, then I stay connected to Christ, Jesus Christ. And I'm grateful. The Lord is so good to me. He's so good to me. I didn't think I deserved it. But he said, yes, you deserve it, Kim. You deserve it. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to love yourself. You deserve to have self-care, take care of yourself, and I'm taking care of myself now. And I feel good about that. Feel good on the inside and the outside. It ain't about the looks, dressing up the outside. Now I'm doing some work on the inside. A lot of tearing down of walls. Guilt, shame, all that is gone. And I could look at myself proudly saying, good, well done. My Christ said, well done. And I'm truly grateful today. I don't even have to have the riches of the world, because the loving of my Christ lives longer than the riches of the world. If it was given to me, it would be a bonus. But the main thing is that having Christ in the center of my world makes is that lives longer. And I know that today. And I try to, have beliefs and minister. And ministry, what that looks like. Some people will be like, ministry? Oh, you're going to be a pastor? Ministry is like helping people. We minister to our kids because we're teaching them how to live. As we go to work, if we be kind to other people and helping people out, that's ministering to others. Volunteering, that's ministering to others. And that's just Christ-like characters that I am proud to build upon. And I believe that's me anyway, because I love helping people. That's the reason why I got into the healthcare field, because that's my character, as I love helping people. And now I'm getting back to my passions and things I enjoy, and getting out in the park and nature and walking in the sun, and feeling the trees and, feeling the, being out in the park and the nature, and it's so rewarding. It makes you feel good. And I just enjoying life and knowing that I'm being part of Christ's church. And I don't mean literally in church, in the building, his people, Christ's people. I try to stay connected to positive people and connected, first of all, to Jesus Christ, connected to him first, and everything else will be added unto me. And all I just want to say is I'm grateful for living in the land of life and living today, and not just striving, surviving. Not just surviving today, but living.